Happy New Year, everybody. As the new year begins, I thought we'd reflect back on the TV shows and movies from Disney of 2020 that we really enjoyed. And so come with me on this movie journey. Welcome to Loren's Adventures Out There. I'm Loren, and I'm with Castles, Capes, and Clones, where we discuss everything in the Disney universe. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and do like this post. It really does help us out. So I think we're all in agreement that 2020 was not a shining year for everybody. I know for me, it was a big challenge with my health problems and things like that. And so I look back at it bitterly, but there were a lot of high points. Me going on YouTube for one, but also there were a lot of television shows and movies from Disney that kind of kept me going throughout the year. And so I thought I'd share some of the ones that I loved, my top 10 for 2020. I think starting off any list would be The Mandalorian Season 2. If you like Season 1, you will love Season 2. It's just off the charts. And it's a lot of great stuff. I mean, aside from the finale, and again, I won't spoil anything, but aside from the finale, where you were discussing this with your family, with your friends, at the water cooler, wherever, people were talking about The Mandalorian Season 2. And if you were a fan like me of Clone Wars and Rebels, you got to see some of your favorite characters come to life. And if not, if you didn't watch these things, you could at least see some really great characters. So, and then let's not mention the guy who comes back from Return of the Jedi. And I won't mention who that is. So it was really a great season. If you're not watching it, you're certifiable. So get watching if you haven't already. Next up is a movie from Pixar. There were two movies this year from Pixar. I like one more than the other. Not saying that I didn't like the other one, but I have to admit that of the two, Onward was my favorite. It's one that's risen up in the rankings of Pixar for me, the more that I watch this film. I think that it got a bad rap because it came out just around the time that things were closing up at the beginning of COVID-19, and which is sad because it actually is a really good film. If you've ever had a father or a brother or even another sibling, I think that you'll totally relate to this film. It's got wonderful world building. You know, you've got a world of elves and gnomes and sprites and centaurs living in this modern world where they've turned their back on magic. And, you know, despite the kind of lofty ambitions and creative parts of this movie, it really boils down to heart. There is a just wonderful story that will just break your heart at some time. So I really love this film and highly recommend it. Next up was a short put out by Pixar as part of its Spark Short program. And this is a program that allows filmmakers of diverse backgrounds to create films. And I think that this is a wonderful program. It started actually before Disney Plus, but it really, I think there was a really big footprint last year when Float came out to talk about autism, and was the first to introduce a Filipino American family. So this film is the first to really embrace a gay couple. It's about this guy who is not out to his parents, and they decide to come over, I think, for his birthday. I can't remember. But he asked his boyfriend to hide, and there's a little bit of, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but after a certain sequence of events, the parents come to understand their son, and so there's a lot of fun in there, and I, I really commend both Pixar and Disney Plus for putting out this product. I know that there are a lot of people who think that Disney could have done better, could have done more. Some people who thought that they could have done less. But I'm always one that is happy to see footsteps. I've worked in the gay rights movement for a long time, pretty much my entire career. And, you know, the thing is that you see things that incremental steps. And I've seen so much change during the course of my career. And I really think that this is a big step for the LGBTQ community. Next up, we have the live-action Mulan, and this was kind of the first experiment with premiere access on Disney Plus. Whether it was a failure or not, we don't know. But I just enjoyed Mulan quite a bit. I know that there are some people that didn't, and I get that there are some holes and things like that in the movie, but I enjoyed it. And I know that there are a lot of people who are angry that they didn't include Mushu in the movie, but I think that that would have totally changed the whole structure and feel of the movie. It was more of an epic martial arts film, and the animated version was a light-hearted comedy, two different things. And I think that those two different things can exist. Mulan is an ancient legend, and there can be different interpretations of this story. Mulan was not written and invented by Disney. So the animated feature is wonderful. It's one of my favorites. But it is one interpretation of the legend of Mulan. So I think that people should definitely give it another chance if you did not enjoy it the first time. Now on to Clouds. Now, Clouds was, I think, a great film. It was originally produced by Warner Brothers, but when COVID happened, they didn't want to release it in theaters, so Disney Plus snatched it up and put it on streaming service. And I think that that was a great and bold choice for Disney. I think it is one of the best movies on Disney Plus right now. It's a young adult film, but it's very different from kind of the other. There's like this weird trend of young people having a fatal disease, being in love with another person. And this film is, follows that same kind of trope, but really in a realistic and very heart-wrenching way. There's also a documentary, not produced by Disney, but it's on YouTube, and I'll try to provide the link. There, it is a real-life documentary. They filmed this while Zach Sobiek, who is the person in the film who is dying, they filmed it while he was alive, and with him knowing that he's dying, and just the kind of life that was still in him, even though he knew he was dying. I mean, it's just that's what is amazing about Clouds. This is about this guy who, even though he knew he was dying, and he could have been bitter, and yes, he was. I mean, it's human to be bitter. At the same time, just embraced as much of life as he could. It's a beautiful movie. I cried. I cried during the documentary as well. You really need to watch this if you haven't already. The next film was the first 20th century film. So it used to be called 20th Century Fox. Now it's called 20th Century. And this is The Call of the Wild, starring Harrison Ford. It was based on a book by Jack London. And it pretty much follows the story. Of course, they make creative licenses to create, to do the film for this kind of audience, that demands action and, fast-paced things and stuff like that. So obviously, it's not exactly like the book, but I think it follows it for the most part. Harrison Ford is great as a grumpy old man, which is what we expect of Harrison Ford. But I just thought that it was a really nice film. It was beautiful, beautifully filmed, and just really thrilling, and again, really heartwarming. So check this film out if you haven't. All right, on to Timmy Failure, Mistakes Were Made. I'm not of the demographic that this film was made for, but I have to say that I really enjoyed this film. I just thought that it was so creative, and I thought that the cast was really good. I mean, the boy who plays Timmy Failure was very charming, and his friends were very cool. I just thought that it was interesting the way that they kind of incorporated his fantasy life into the real life that was going on. And, it's more adult than you think it is. And, if you are of my age or somewhere around my age, you and didn't think that you would like this film, I think that you will be pleasantly surprised. And on to a couple of documentary series. First up is Prop Culture. I am a huge fan of props and costumes. I love seeing them. Whenever there's a D23 Expo, I make a big attempt to go see the Walt Disney Archives exhibit. It's beautiful. I mean, the last one, they had all kinds of costumes, and I was just salivating at this. So, Prop Culture involves this one guy. It's interesting. He's like a prop hunter, and he goes around and he looks for all of these props. He talks to all of these people at Disney to look at the props, and it's just, I mean, like, why couldn't that have been? I like that would be that would be my dream job, along with being on a cooking show, or like Andrew Zimmern, where you circle the world and eat. But I mean, this guy was like, man, if I could only do what you're doing, to be able to see the props that he sees and just, collect them as well. These things are worth buku bucks. But, I mean, they had themed shows. So there was like one on Roger Rabbit, one on Mary Poppins, one on Pirates of the Caribbean, Nightmare Before Christmas. I think Did they have Tron? I believe that they had Tron. I can't remember some of the others, but just a great show. I know that at one point they showed Vincent, the robot from Black Hole. Oh my God, I was so excited because I loved this robot when I was younger. Actually, hold on just a second. I even have a Vincent action figure and a Vincent vinyl mason. This is how much I love them. Oh, look at that. So cute. Anyway, great show to watch. Definitely check it out. And the other documentary show was The Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom. When you think of cast members, you think of, the clerk at the Emporium at Disneyland, somebody that is a character at Walt Disney World, an artist, a Imagineer. But this show shows all the people who are behind the scenes of Disney's Animal Kingdom at Walt Disney World, which is bar none my favorite park at Walt Disney World. Comes in just slightly ahead of Epcot, but it is my favorite park because it is absolutely beautiful. There is not an ugly section of the park, except for maybe Dino Land, but it's off to the side there. Other than that, absolutely beautiful place, and the animals are just wonderful to watch on the Kilimanjaro Safari, on the 2 jungle treks that they have there. It's just a wonderful place. And so you see all of these, there's like veterinarians, there's trainers, there's people who care for the animals. It's amazing to see what is behind the scenes there. I mean, there's just so many jobs that are there specifically for Animal Kingdom, and it's wonderful. I just always commend Disney for having created such a park. I wish that we had one on this coast. I would go every day if I could. So yeah, definitely check that one out. And the final show is The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse. Now, these are the new Mickey shorts that are out there, just rebranded as The Magical World of Mickey Mouse instead of just being called Mickey Mouse. And they're on Disney Plus, specific to Disney Plus. So I don't know if they're moving from the Disney Channel over to Disney Plus, but it doesn't matter because I have both and I love them. The thing that I love about the new shorts is that, when Mickey was in such shorts as Steamboat Willie and Plane Crazy, he was really funny and he did crazy things, and over the years he just kind of became a corporate symbol, and he was less funny. You look at the shorts in the 50s, and you'll see a marked difference from that and Steamboat Willie. And you look at things today, like, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Is it called Mickey Mouse Clubhouse or Club Mickey? I can't remember the name of the show on Disney Junior. It's very, very saccharine. And this show just really brings him back to those days of Steamboat Willie. And, he's got this wonderful design. They wouldn't be able to do half the things that they do in these shorts if they had retained the classic design of of Mickey Mouse. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful program. They've got some great episodes in the wonderful world of Mickey Mouse. So definitely check that out if you have not already. So that's it. What were some of the shows that you liked from 2020? I'd love to know. And do you disagree with me on anything? I'd love to know that as well. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And we have come to the end of the program. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, and like our program. You can always reach us on Twitter at CCC Disney Uni, on Instagram at Castlescapes and Clones. You can reach me on Twitter at Lojaf, and on Instagram at Loren Javier. And then visit our website at www.castlescapesandclones.com. I wish you a Happy New Year again, and thank you so much. I bid you adieu. Goodbye.